Hello and welcome to my opinions on Tiny Takeover for Minecraft, the latest update. It's cute. Some of the characters, some of the mobs, the animals, look nice. They look smaller, they look cuter, but some do not look good. And this feels rushed. Maybe it wasn't, but it feels like it was. It feels like some animals they just gave up on. I don't like the eyes. They look dead. They look like there's no emotion, which is a problem. There was an update years ago when they changed villagers to have the bigger heads. And that was kind of strange to get used to, but you got used to it because kids have big heads. The baby animals used to just look like smaller versions of the regular animals. So having the animals be smaller with bigger heads kind of like all fit an aesthetic. This one I'm not keen on. I'm also I'm aware that the updates are all smaller now, but this does nothing for me. I do average redstone. I make simple redstone farms. It gives me the tools that I need to create things that I like. There's 3 or 4 types of players of Minecraft. There's people that like to go on adventures. There's people that like PvP. There's people that like to create. And there's people that like the automation of it all, where you can make big farms and collect loads of things. And some people care about the cuteness and some people don't. They're kind of mixed up in that they're a subgroup of all of the main groups. And I feel like recently that the groups and subgroups that have been catered for the most since Caves and Cliffs are PvP, adventures, and a subgroup of we want it to be very cute. Now I get I get wanting to make it cute, and they've added things for redstone, which is fine, and they've added some blocks, but I feel like the creating of the blocks and the textures and the color patterns and stuff of different blocks is fallen far behind other parts of the game at this point. The only thing I'm interested in this whole update is that flower, the golden dandelion, because it makes a crap flower look a little bit better. I like to make vegetation, terraforming, hillsides, forests, that sort of type of thing. I like to do that. When I build a house, the most fun I have building a house is the garden around it and the vegetation and all that stuff around it. That's the fun I have. So the golden dandelion is the only thing I'm looking forward to in this update, or it have been impressed by. The rest I really is not for me. Let's look at the upcoming update. Cube Madness, Cube Chaos, or I think it might be that. But there's things called sulfur caves. And there's the sulfur cave there. Now, the sulfur cave is red and yellow blocks with different looking water. And I think you can see here that the yellow looks like it is the dirt block pattern with a yellow colour to it. And the red block looks like... oh, I can't remember what it was. Looks like one of the woods. I think it might be mangrove, maybe, with a red hint to it. That's the core block. The starting block. And then Ooh. You can polish it like you can with the Blackstone or the deep slate and all that stuff. And you get bricks. So you get polished versions and you get brick versions and you get chiseled versions. I really like this. I think I'm really excited for the red brick. I'm really excited for the yellow brick. I've been saying for a while that we should have brick versions. I actually want smaller brick versions, like the clay brick, smaller bricks. I've been saying that we should have all the colours variations of these stone bricks, and I think that's what they're going for. But this been long enough. We should have this already. We should have this already. But they've decided to take the leap and they're going for red and yellow Lego brick style blocks. I'm looking forward for this. We'll talk about the water. So in sulfur caves, you get pools of water. When there's sulfur in the water, a sulfur block in the water or around the water, you will get sulfur water, I think. Not that gives off noxious gas. So I might play this a little bit. So the noxious gas, when you stand inside it, will make you dizzy. The water changes colour and the water will give off noxious fumes. Now, my question is, does that water stay like that if you bucket it? Or does it always have to be attached to a cube of sulfur? How much sulfur blocks do you need to make a whole pool like that turn into sulfur water? We don't know. That's part of the finding out process, I guess. Having this in like a witch's hut, if you could put this into a cauldron and have it bubbling away, that looks really cool. You could have it near volcanoes where you've got the acidic. So yeah, what happens with the water, we don't know, but we'll find that out. That I'm looking forward to too. If that's just going to be the next update on its own, I'd be happy with that. But they added Agnes making faces. Sulfur cubes. They made sulfur cubes. Now, sulfur cubes will absorb certain blocks that you give them. And then once they do that, they're meant to stay still. I don't know if that was a glitch, but they're meant to stay still. And when they stay still, you can then hit them. And they will move depending on what block you've put inside them and how hard you hit them. And they'll move in different ways depending on what you put in them. So this is purely minigame making. This is golf. This is football. This is curling. This is just fun ways of pushing blocks around. The way you get these things is going to be a bit frustrating, when it might change, because what will happen is when you find one in the sulfur caves, you chop it and it turns into two, and then they two grow up, and then you chop them and then they grow up and they've got four, and that's how you grow your sulfur cubes. So if you want to create a mini game 1,000 blocks away or something, you have to take your sulfur cube from the sulfur cave, go all the way over to your area and keep it in a pen, and depending on how many you need, you will grow them at the time and then put your blocks in them and use them. My problem with this is that you will always have to keep a sulfur cube alive at the game that you're wanting to play. You're gamifying a grindy process. You're taking something that could just be simply just crafting something. I think Cubfan said that this could just have been craftable, but you're taking something that could just be craftable, and you make the player have to go somewhere for an unknown distance, and if their worlds are old, the distance gets longer and longer to an area, and if they don't have chunk base, they have to just wander and hope. Oh, adventure. That's not adventure, that's grind, man. That's grind. Or you use chunk base, you go exactly to the place, you fly straight there with your elytra and your dried ghast in your boat. You wait for your dried ghast to spawn, you hook it all up, and you slowly fly it back. That's the adventure. So you're either punishing people that don't have chunk base, or you're just making a boring process for people that do have chunk base. There's no adventure. There's no adventure. So why even pretend that there is? I want to go adventuring. I want to go to different areas and go into ancient cities with my friends and go to trial chambers. The reasons to go to trial chambers are the problem I have with trial chambers. I'm going off topic, but the problem I have with trial chambers is the loot is crap, and when you go there and you use all of the loot chests, you then have to go to another one. And once again, you're punishing the people that don't have chunk base, and you're making it boring for the people that do have chunk base. So why not just have them find a trial chamber and have them do what they want with it, but make the loot repeatable? Why not? People will still go. They will still fight the mobs if they want to fight the mobs. They'll make farms if they want to make farms. To force them to go to some place and do the particular thing that is not worth it. Anyhow, I'm going off on a tangent. You should be able to just craft them, but they've decided they want to do it this way because it's a living block. Or okay, I like the aspect of it. I'm interested in making a golf course and using these things as the balls and the clubs. That's something that's interesting me. The colour cubes is something that interested me as well. I'm looking forward to this next update. I'm not happy with this current update. There's nothing to it, man. There's nothing to it. Also, no update on the inventory. Anyhow, that was that. So we'll see what happens in the next one. I've been G-Truth84 and I'll see you in a bit.